Hello and welcome to another edition of Childhood Remastered. This is the podcast where we look back on the cartoons and TV shows and movies and whatnot of our youth to see if they're still worth a damn.
Or not.
Or not, which is far too often the case. I am Sean.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're doing something a little different. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, then you can see us. We're sitting in my brand new, old room.
We're really human beings.
We're
not
real
robots.
Real human beings. But it's the new year, so we decided to try out some new formats and see if these things are.
We're just gonna throw some stuff against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Just to sort of change things up for the new year and see. So we're gonna go with the whatnot category of our list of things that we look at,
which we haven't done yet.
Yeah, we have not done. It's like Bed Bath & Beyond, and we're hitting the Beyond part.
So the whole month of January, actually, we're going to do this, and we may disperse a couple more episodes like this later on in the year. The month of January is going to be sort of mini episodes, and then starting in February, we're going to kind of go right back into our original format. So this is just kind of something fun for us to do. We got a couple of things we want to cover like this, right?
Yeah. So today what we're going to be covering is cereals. Anybody who grew up, really any kid at all, knows that cereals are a huge part of a kid's day.
And the Saturday morning experience,
too.
Yeah,
the Saturday morning experience, 100%. Saturday mornings when we were growing up, or at least specifically when I was growing up, and I'm sure my experience was not unique, is that Saturday mornings, you get up at 5:30 or 6, you get a big heaping bowl of the most sugary cereal that you can find that's in the cabinet. You pour some milk into that and you plop yourself down in front of the TV for a good 4 hours worth of entertainment. And that's
4 hours undisputed if you were lucky.
Yeah. And that's what you do. And maybe you have 2 bowls or 3 bowls or however much you can fit in
your tiny fat gullet wants to consume.
Yeah, and it always made the cartoons better. At least I thought.
I think it's the sugar high that was probably after we looked at the sugar content of some of the sugar cereals.
Yeah,
I'm 100% sure that the sugar high was a big part of that.
Yeah, sugar high.
So why don't you tell me what was a childhood sugar cereal that you just can't get out of your childhood mythos?
Now, I actually am a fan, and I still am a fan to this day, of cereals that had little marshmallows in them. I liked things like Alphabets, the Lucky Charms. There was a Ghostbusters cereal for a while.
Hell yeah, there was.
That had marshmallow like Slimers and the little oat pieces.
Mid-late 80s.
Yeah, I want to say that the oat pieces were like the no symbol, the circle with the hash through it. And there were, let's see what else. If my parents would buy it, they usually wouldn't because you didn't get a whole lot of bang for your buck. You still don't. I would like Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Fruity Pebbles. Not as much Cocoa Pebbles, although sometimes we would get that.
They're fine.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite cereals, actually, and it wasn't a sugary cereal, was Crispex.
That's because you're an old man.
I loved Crispex. Oh my god! And I would love to let it get soggy and eat it. And yeah, maybe I am an old man. How about you? What was your favorite cereal?
So I had some good sugar cereal memories myself, but I also have some old man cereals too. So my sugar cereals, actually Lucky Charms were in that wheelhouse, but Fruity Pebbles was one that I always wanted when I was a kid that my parents would never buy because they swore it was just chock full of so much sugar. And actually looking at the back of the box, it's not nearly as bad as you would think. But some of the other ones that they did buy, thinking that there was less sugar, actually had more sugar in them when you check the actual nutritional facts.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that it was that, and then Frosted Mini Wheats was like a big part of my regular rotation. And Captain Crunch, Life, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Apple Jacks were fine, but I always felt like Apple Jacks were what somebody would buy when they didn't know what else to get. And then there was always the other cereals that you wanted to get, but your parents would never really buy, like the Reese's Puffs cereal the Cookie Crisp cereal, where my parents were like, really, we're not buying peanut butter cup cereal or cookie cereal or waffles covered in syrup cereal. But there was one you and I were talking about before we recorded. Do you remember the the Buñuelitos.
Oh, yeah, Buñuelitos. I always remember the commercial because it's. I don't know if you get it outside of Southern California because it's kind of a Hispanic. I would say maybe Latin American.
I think it's a product out of Mexico.
Yeah, and the commercial would be a bunch of kids, and they would sing the song Buñuelitos, and then they'd all be like dancing around, and it's basically just cinnamon sugar cereal. That's all it is.
If you know what the Buñuelos is, it's basically Buñuelos cereal.
Yeah,
which is you cannot get better than that. It's like ridiculous.
It's like puffs of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's all.
I will say that my old man cereal. I have 3, one of which I get teased mercilessly for. So the first one was Wheat Chex, which
that's kind of like Crispec.
It's like Crispec. It can't get like more old man.
Yeah.
Raisin Bran. I still eat a lot of Raisin Bran.
I love Raisin Bran.
And then I would probably say the 100% Quaker Natural, which is just granola cereal, but it was like $8 a box. And
Holy crap!
It was something that like my dad would buy. My mom would get mad at my dad for buying it, but he'd buy it anyways. And he would be like, "Okay, now this is topping for your cereal," and he'd sprinkle it onto your bowl. And then when he would on the days where he would go to work before you get up, you'd like pour yourself an entire bowl of this stuff, and you just eat it was full of so much sugar.
That's what I would do with Fruity Pebbles. I would absolutely demolish the box in one sitting because we found out today. So what we did today is that we went and grabbed a couple boxes of our favorite cereals that were still around that we could still get because not all of our favorite cereals are around anymore.
I was going to make a pick this week to annoy one of our listeners who is very hardcore about Boo Berry, and I was going to pick Frankenberry and just trash Boo Berry, but I decided not to do that this week, Sean. So, not this Sean, the other Sean.
And I was convinced that Boo Berry was only available during the Halloween season. I didn't think that Boo Berry was available during the...
You can get all 3 of them all year long now.
Isn't there a 4th one?
I believe there is.
There's Frankenberry, Boo Berry, Count Chocula, and then Fruit Beast.
Fruit Beast?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's the werewolf one.
Yeah, it's the werewolf. I never see the werewolf one, so I think the other 3 are the only ones you actually see.
Yeah, the Target...
Target usually has all of them.
All 4 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So what we did today is we went and found some of the cereals that we remember from our youth, and we tried them again just because...
Some of them we haven't had in a long time, mostly because it feels weird to be a 35-year-old adult eating Lucky Charms, for instance.
Well, let's talk about that. What do you eat for breakfast now that you're a grown-ass adult?
Do
you eat breakfast?
Coffee.
How very European of you.
Yeah, just coffee. Coffee and a croissant, or coffee only, maybe. I don't know. The occasional donut when I really want one, but yeah, coffee, just all coffee all the time. Actually, coffee for lunch sometimes.
See, I feel like I'm much more old man, or at least much more adult now. My normal breakfast every day, almost without fail, is a packet of instant oatmeal and 2 eggs.
Yeah, you're an old man.
Yeah, and it's super good. I'm
That's
actually
because you're super old.
I'm actually super picky about my oatmeal. I don't like. There's only a certain type of oatmeal that I like. I don't like the Quaker Oats. It's too mealy.
So, do you think you're going to add any of these sugar cereals into your rotation?
Probably not, based on how my mouth feels right now.
Right now,
eating them all.
Yeah. So we each had a less than a full portion, which. Apparently, a full portion of these cereals is about 3/4 a cup.
Yeah,
which,
or 3/4 to a cup.
If you measure out a 3/4 cup to a single cup of dried cereal, it's not much.
No,
and so we did a 3/4 cup. Actually, we did about a half cup
yeah.
for each of these cereals, and
because we didn't want to fill up because we haven't had dinner yet.
I definitely feel a sugar slick.
That 100%.
You can't get rid of. So, what's the first one we have today?
So the first one was my choice. One of my choices. I chose Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious. Partially my heritage. I am Irish, so this offends me a little bit. But this is absolutely one of the marshmallow centric cereals. You know what I actually would do? I used to have a dehydrator, and I would, around Christmas time, I would take the marshmallows that were in shapes. Like
dehydrate them?
The Christmas tree and the Santa and whatever, absolutely dehydrate them. It would usually take a while, but you ended up with giant Lucky Charms marshmallows, essentially.
That's I had no idea.
Oh, it's so
life
good.
hacks. Life hacks.
So good. So
we did this one.
yeah, and think about when you were a kid. Think about when you were a kid, how much cereal you dumped in that bowl, because the serving size in this is 3/4 of a cup. 3/4 of a cup. I
So
could not believe that. And-
So I think my childhood portion was like half a box then.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I'm saying with the Fruity Pebbles. I would 100% eat half a box in a sitting, and then the next day it would be gone.
This is why we have problems.
This is why diabetes.
Diabetes.
Yeah, 10 grams of sugar in these Lucky Charms. So we tried these, and I have to say, they taste just like I remember it.
They're just
They're so good.
It's not good.
It's addicting. And honestly, this one, you wouldn't think it, but this one has like the least amount of sugar out of all the cereals we tried.
I'm beyond surprised. I don't think I've had Lucky Charms at least like 10 years. 10 years maybe. Maybe more, maybe 15 years.
Now, how did you eat your Lucky Charms? Because I think everybody ate their Lucky Charms the same way.
I'm 100% that everyone ate their Lucky Charms the same way, unless you are a monster,
Yeah.
and that is toasted oats first, marshmallows at the end.
Yeah, so you have like
And if you're a truly obsessive compulsive,
did you add milk?
No. You pick out all of the toasted oats out of the box and you eat that separately, and then you have one giant bowl of just marshmallows when you're done.
I'm pretty sure that you can get, and I don't think it's from General Mills. I'm pretty sure that you can get just a bag of marshmallows.
Yeah, you can.
Like
and I
somebody
think it
did
is from
that.
General Mills. You can. It's like
Really?
$100 for like a giant bag of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So this was first. We did this first.
Yeah. It was good. I liked it.
And then the next one that we picked was Captain Crunch.
Yeah, Captain Crunch.
For whatever reason, this is football special. And honestly, I don't think I've had Captain Crunch in probably about the same amount of time. And god damn it, I remember why. And it's not because it's bad. It's because I'd be 400 fucking pounds if I ate Captain Crunch as often as this box would allow me to eat it.
Yeah, this is another one with the serving size is 3/4 of a cup. This one, sugar, 1 more gram of sugar for this one.
But you would think that it would be less.
Yeah, the thing that I didn't like about the Captain Crunch, and don't get me wrong, I like Captain Crunch. The thing that I didn't like,
it destroys the roof of your mouth, and that's a common thing.
No. I never have a problem with it. It's that it sort of leaves like this film in your mouth.
That's the thing that I pointed out before we started. I was like,
Yeah.
it always has this like weird film, and it's from the Captain Crunch, even though we ate another cereal after that one.
Yeah.
So then the next one is one that there's actually a pick for the both of us.
Yeah.
And it's one that my parents would buy by accident every once in a while, thinking they're buying something healthy. And this has double the sugar
It
almost.
has no health benefits at all.
It's 18 grams of sugar.
And that is Honey O's.
Sweet merciful God.
Honey O's are awful for you. Comparatively, Honey O's has 3. These two both have 1 gram of fat total. This has 3 grams of fat and 18 grams of sugar compared to 10 and 11. It has hardly any of the vitamins that the other ones have, because these are all like whole grain cereals.
They're fortified.
Fortified. The serving size is bigger, and the calories, this is like 100, 110.
And then the other's almost 200 calories.
170 calories for this one. But it is so damn good. It is criminally good, and it's probably the sugar.
Yeah, because that's what humans crave.
The second
sugar, fat, salt.
The second ingredient.
It's got all 3.
The second ingredient is sugar for all of these. And in case you didn't know, helpful life pro tip: when you look at the ingredient lists on anything, really, they're in order of percentage on there. So the first one is the highest ingredient. The next one is the next highest. The next one is the next highest. So you have corn flour, which is high in calories, sugar, which is sugar, and then molasses, which is also sugar. And then you have whole grain flour.
Do you remember your parents buying this for you?
Absolutely, and I loved it, and it would be the same thing. I would probably eat like 2.5 bowls of it. And
so you were having like 600 plus calories worth of
and then if you look
cereal?
if you compare the boxes, O's is much smaller. O's is like, and cereal companies would do that with the really good but the really high sugar cereals like O's, like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, like Fruity Pebbles. They were all in these like small 3/4 size boxes.
So life hack with Fruity Pebbles, instead of eating it in cereal form, eat it in Rice Krispie treat form.
Oh, yeah. I've done that.
Half and half Rice Krispie and Fruity Pebbles. It's a life changer. So I don't buy Fruity Pebbles to eat as cereal, but we definitely buy Fruity Pebbles because I make those Rice Krispie treats for people all the time. And then there's always leftovers, and so I mix it half and half with the Rice Krispies, and I let my kid have a bowl occasionally, every once in a while. So I have a giant bag of it that I bought, like the off-brand one, because it tastes exactly the same.
Now, keep going.
And so I bought it, and so I just kind of dig into it, like when I'm going to make more Rice Krispie treats. My kid loves those things.
Let's talk about your kid for a minute. Does she eat cereal in the morning?
Occasionally.
Does she eat breakfast?
She does. Yeah, I mean, her breakfast varies. It's kind of all over the map. But every once in a while, she'll get cereal when we have it in the house. We don't buy much cereal anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know what I'm going to do with the cereal that I bought because I don't freaking
It'll sit in the cupboard until it goes stale, and then Kathy makes you throw it out.
Until it gets those little flies in it.
Delicious.
Extra protein.
Yeah,
Fruits.
yeah. So I think I'll probably actually use a Captain Crunch and make some Rice Krispie treats with those too.
Rice Crunch Berry treats.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those are our cereal recipe or our cereal memories.
Yeah, the thing that I remember, and it's also a product of watching a lot of old cartoons with old commercials in them, is that you can see throughout the years how the way that the cereal has been presented to kids. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do this is because there were cereals that I really liked as a kid that I had tried, and I know I've tried since then, like stuff like Honeycomb, and which I was going to get that, but the box is so freaking big for Honeycomb.
Giant.
I couldn't justify getting that.
And then Sugar Smash.
Yeah,
and
well,
some of these other ones.
Like I've tried as an adult. I've tried Honeycomb, and I've tried like Apple Jacks. And as a kid, I remember them being a lot sweeter, a lot more sugary than they are now.
They did cut the sugar content down.
They absolutely cut the sugar content down in like all cereals. And they also changed the marketing in cereals a lot. Like if you look at a lot of old cartoons, a lot of old stuff, if you watch Boomerang and stuff, and you had like Sugar Smacks. So Smacks used to be called Sugar Smacks. Frosted Flakes used to be called Sugar Frosted Flakes. Basically, they would emphasize the fact that there was sugar in the cereal because they knew kids liked sugar. So anything that was called frosted something was usually originally called sugar frosted something, and they just dropped the sugar off of it to make it appeal to the more health conscious crowd. I want to say they did that in like the late 70s, early 80s. They started dropping that sugar. Maybe even farther.
I think it was 80s maybe. But there's also a bunch of cereals that are gone now that you don't see anymore that were limited time only, mostly related to movies. You mentioned one. The Ghostbusters. And I think I've, on the podcast, mentioned a couple, like the Gremlins cereal.
Gremlins, yep.
And the Legend of Zelda Mario half and half box. That, by the way, is coming back. They're going to do one like as a re-release, I think. Or what I read somewhere that they're re-releasing a limited half and half Zelda Mario.
Yeah, and I want to say that those came in a box that's like this big normally, and so you really barely get any cereal in either of the bag.
Oh, I don't care. I'm gonna buy it.
But they always keep,
I'm gonna buy it.
The back of the box, that's something we never talked about. The back of the box, they still do. Well, maybe not on this one, but they would usually have like games and stuff that you could have on the back of the box.
Well, they also used to give toys in the cereal too. It was we need a ploy to get these kids to buy our sugar junk. And they
shove toys in it.
Yeah, so we'll stick a crappy toy in it, or like a proof of purchase that you would have to collect to get a toy.
Oh, that's
they don't do
worst.
Those anymore.
No,
they're gone.
What about the contest you used to enter?
That's what I'm saying. Like all those things, like you had to submit proofs of purchase to enter the contest, or you collect them and you have like 100 proofs of purchase by such and such a date. You can mail it in and get like a rocket or some shit,
a mask or a toy car. Now,
yeah,
when you
those are gone.
When you went to get the toys out of the box, did you just reach your grubby hand in there and grab the toy out?
No,
because you dumped all the cereal into a giant bowl.
I dumped it into a giant bowl, and then I would find the toy, pull it out, and like gingerly put it back so nobody knew, and then I would have the toy, and my brother and sister didn't know that I had the toy.
Oh, see, when I was right around that like cereal eating kid age. my younger sister was either not around because I'm about 6 years older than her.
Yeah.
She was either not around or she was way too young for cereal. So I never had to fight with anybody for cereal.
I was eating sugar cereal probably at least into the end of junior high.
Oh, yeah, so was I. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I ate cereal up until college. I was still buying
Well,
cereal.
no, that's different because then
then
you're
it becomes a meal.
well, and then the reasons why is totally different.
I haven't gotten out of bed. That's when you get a mini fridge right by your bed.
And
So
it's
that you
filled
have
with beer and
beer
milk.
and milk.
Yeah.
And you have the cereal sitting on top of the mini fridge, and you just have one nasty bowl that you haven't washed out, or you washed out in the bathroom
yeah.
sink.
Or like I have a friend who keeps a mini fridge next to his computer just for gaming.
Ah, yeah.
Genius. Jolt Cola and booze.
Oh, I just watched. This is completely unrelated. Have you watched the latest season of Black Mirror?
No.
Oh,
Give nothing away.
I
don't
won't.
wanna know.
But there was
Yeah.
a mini fridge involved in the first episode, which is also the best.
I'm way
episode.
behind because I'm wasting my free time on other things, other unproductive things.
World of Warcraft.
On a private server, leave me alone.
It's okay. I've been playing Mario on the Switch that I got my wife
No
for
judgment.
Christmas.
No, I knew that's why you bought it.
Yeah.
I was there. I know why.
It's like I bought her a bowling ball. Yeah, let's go
Of course,
with
yeah.
my finger sizes.
So I think we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do more of these this month.
Yeah, and maybe
then-
throw these in every so often. This could be these could be recurring like bonus segments because we have ideas for a whole bunch of stuff that are really sort of mini episodes. And
books or movies that we weren't allowed to watch,
Or we
all
shouldn't
kinds
have
of-
watched.
or shouldn't have watched. Yeah, we've got a few other things that we want to cover, and maybe we'll do one of them on the road. Maybe.
ooh, maybe
Yeah.
we
So
could.
we'll see.
Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane because cereal is something I feel like we all had in common.
Yeah,
And we can
it
all
definitely
relate
gives
to-
you the nostalgic feels.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
when you pick up. I mean, I hadn't had a bowl of Lucky Charms in a long time, and tasting that first marshmallow, I was like, "Oh yeah, this takes me back."
Oh yeah, there's that ADD rolling in.
There's
Delicious.
there's that diabetes,
Yes, the hyperactivity.
the hyperactivity. That's not actually. It doesn't matter, but Saturday morning cartoons would not be what they are if it wasn't for the sugary cereals that we sat down
That
with
hyped our brain.
that hyped our brain up and allowed us to consume that delicious.
Brain destroying magic.
Oh yeah. So that's probably going to do it for this episode. Like we said, these are going to be short, sweet, to the point,
Yeah.
and we'll put out. This will be available on iTunes, wherever you get your
iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, whatever.
wherever you get your podcasts.
And
Same,
we'll post it, of course,
Yeah.
on Thursdays
yeah,
as per
same bat time.
Throwback Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. So until next time, this is Sean.
And Chris.
And this has been your Childhood Remastered. We will see you next time.